Recently, somebody asked me a very peculiar question. They asked me, "Are there any issues I'm dealing with, as far as traumas or anything personal internally that I'm dealing with that I haven't resolved?" I don't know what it was about that moment that I was asked, but I thought about it more than I usually would, and I guess there are when I really got deep into the thought process of what am I dealing with internally, like what's going on with me mentally that I deal with, I came up with a few answers. Nothing I didn't already know, but I pondered on what I already knew a little bit more. And it made me be honest about some more stuff in my mind that I deal with sometimes that I haven't all the way faced yet. You know what I mean? I have days where I get into my head and I'm just thinking too much or just in my head a little bit too much. It's some days where, it's things that I internalize that I don't like to talk about, or it's like, you got people to talk about or talk to about it, but you don't want to worry them. 9 times out of 10, it's somebody close to you that really care about you and they want the best for you mentally and physically. But I don't always want to go worry them or tell them everything that's going on in my head, only because, like I said, I don't want to stress nobody out, bother nobody with it. But I don't know. So it's just some days I'm in my head, and I got days where I'm down. I'm just like, and even just recently, I was really in my head about a lot of stuff, and it's hard being me sometimes. You know what I mean? Because I know I could deal with a lot of things mentally that I got to overcome. I've overcome a lot of things that I've dealt with mentally, but it's still a process, and I'm still going. And I've found out a lot about myself, and I feel like I've sat with myself to a degree and looked myself in the mirror enough to really pick myself apart. But I'm still learning about myself. Right? Learning yourself is a lifelong process. Learning in itself is a lifelong process. And you know, it's some days I sit and I'm just down and out and I just wish I wasn't even me. You know what I mean? I wish I was somebody else. I wish I didn't deal with the problems I dealt with mentally. And I'd always think about, well, I sometimes I'll sit and I'll think about stuff like that. I eventually come out of it, but it's always those moments that you're sitting in a dark corner in your mind and you kind of just wish you was somebody else. You wish you didn't go through things you went through mentally and sometimes physically. Sometimes you got to be grateful though for what you do have. You got to really think to yourself, like, if you got your health, you know what I mean? Sick people, I read a quote recently that said, "Health is a crown that the healthy wear, but only the sick can see." And that really struck me because it's like, yeah, that's super true. But aside from that, it made me be a little more in depth. It made me get a little more in depth. The question that I was asked made me get a little bit more in depth with my own mental state and what I'm dealing with, or things that I still find challenging to overcome. Like I said, sometimes I get into episodes of wishing I was, not dealing with what I go through and wishing I was somebody else and all that. And I've realized that the sooner you can be honest with yourself and actually look at yourself and accept the flaws that you have, the sooner you can overcome and start the healing process. The sooner you can sit down and actually take accountability, look at what you're dealing with mentally, pick apart everything, go be super honest with yourself, the sooner you can start to heal and move forward and become a better you. But if there are things in your head that you got going on that you ain't bringing to light to yourself, then it's gonna be a battle all the time. Like, I don't know, there are things that people deal with on a daily basis, and a lot of people, the anger that they have, the outbursts that they have, some of their behaviors, you know what I'm saying, are based on these things that they're not facing mentally. When you just let stuff sit in your head and you're not dealing with it, you being controlled by it essentially. It's controlling your mood, your behavior. Sometimes you're subconsciously, you don't even know. Sometimes people got things going on in here they do know about, but they refuse to deal with it. Whatever traumas you're dealing with, whatever mental things you're dealing with, you have to look in the mirror and really pick yourself apart. It's not easy. It's not easy at all. It's definitely a process. It's something that is, it's not overnight. It doesn't happen overnight. But the quicker you start, the quicker you can heal, the quicker you can get to be a better you. Like I said, when I was asked that question, I picked myself apart a little bit more, and I'm like, you know what? If I'm being quite honest with myself, there are some things that I need to really home in on as far as my mental state and things that I think about or do. And I need to really, buckle down on it, because I can't say that I'm doing everything that I'm doing to become a better me if I'm not be looking in. Oh, excuse me. I can't say that I'm doing everything that I need to do to be a better me if I'm not being honest with myself when I look in that mirror and would think about what's on my mind and what's going on with my mental state. And a lot of things I have dealt with, I've come a long way, and I'm like, you know what? It has greatly helped me going forward in my life. I've done a lot of healing. I've gotten over a lot of traumas. I can't really say I've had like trauma in my life, but a lot of things that affected me mentally and that stuck with me for a long time in my life. I faced it. I picked it apart, found out what it is I need to do to overcome this, and I've implemented it in my daily life, in my routine. But it's not easy. Like I said, it's a process. You have to actually put effort into it to actually see results. You can't be a better you if you don't deal with what is going on in your head. You have to sit, really be honest with yourself. It hurts sometimes, it hurts what you uncover about yourself, and you got to go through pain that, the pain of growth, I guess. That's part of the pain of growth. Being honest with yourself, really looking at who you are in the mirror and telling yourself, I have a problem. I have to fix this. Instead of blaming the other people, instead of letting it take over your life in certain ways, influence your behaviors, you have to really sit down and look at yourself and tell yourself that you have these issues going on, or else you'll never get to where you're trying to go in your life. And it took me to do a lot of that to get to where I am now. I still got, like I said, like I always say, still got a long way to go. It's a lifelong process. You got to stay on top of it if you're sincere about what your journey and what you're trying to do. And like I already said, it hurts sometimes. Sometimes you got pent up emotions inside of you that you haven't unraveled yet. Some things you just haven't released. You angry. You might be angry about something that happened a long time ago and you holding that in. And you might be sad about something that happened a long time ago and you holding that in. You got to find a way to release that. That's part of the healing process. Even if you just got to simply cry, even if you simply got to just sit and cry. Find yourself somewhere to go. Find a quiet place. If you don't have anybody to cry to, sit down for a minute, breathe, and let it all out. Just let it out, and that's okay to do, especially if you're a man, because the way we've been programmed and how society is, it's a lot of things we push back into our subconscious, and it gets stuck in there so long, and it end up manifesting in certain ways, and sometimes we're not conscious of it. It affects our life negatively. So that's why you have to dig deep and be real with yourself. Don't play around. Release that. It can only benefit you, Sometimes I sit and I'll be in my room and I just let it out. Tears, they get to flowing. It's okay to do that, you know what I mean? And then I get up, I feel a lot better, and I just go on about my day and I'm ready to tackle the day. I feel a little bit more healed afterwards. We got to get past that stigma of men seeming weak when they show emotions. If you don't want to, it's okay to show your emotions. And sometimes you might need to do it privately. You know what I mean? It's okay. You don't have to be public with it. Go to a quiet place and just release whatever's going on inside of you. But people in general have a lot of pent up things, pent up sorrows and anger inside of them that they haven't dealt with. And it influences their behavior. It influences how they go about their life. It wreaks havoc on their relationships. And you have to be accepting of who you are, accept all your flaws, accept everything about you, because then the sooner you can do that, the quicker you can start to love yourself. A lot of people out here looking for love externally, validation, they're looking for acceptance. You can get all of that from inside of you if you just deal with the problems you have going on in your mind. You don't have to, you can be at peace with being alone. I'm not saying be alone. Yes, find somebody, if you desire to be in a relationship, because the thing is, these things affect relationships and you will end up being alone. But what I'm saying is, you have to be comfortable with being alone so you can pick yourself apart better and unravel what's going on inside of your head, so you can be able to love somebody else. It's a part of the healing process involves you being able to get to a point where you can love yourself enough, and then you'll be able to love other people even more. And there are a lot of issues that I've dealt with that stopped me from loving myself and accepting who I am. It was affecting my self-esteem, my confidence. The quicker you can be honest with yourself and tackle those issues, the quicker you can heal, the quicker you can love yourself, the quicker your confidence can go up, the quicker your self-esteem will get better. The quicker all of that can go up. But if you let everything sit inside of you and you let it just grow and grow into this tight ball in your chest and in your mind, and then you get into these episodes where you just down and out and you just thinking about all this stuff, you have to deal with it so you don't have to go through that stuff no more. Sometimes pain doesn't disappear. You just learn how to live with it. You learn how to cope with it. You learn how to use it in a positive way. Sometimes you can reverse it and make it benefit you if you do the proper steps to make that happen. But, like I said, sitting around and doing nothing about it isn't going to help you. Release it, deal with it, face it head on. Like I said, it might hurt. It might take time, but you have to start the process so it can happen immediately. I want to be able to fully love myself, and I want my self-esteem and my confidence to be unshakable, unmovable. Because if you can't love yourself, if you can't be alone and love yourself for who you are and accept all your own flaws and all your own shortcomings, you can't possibly be better and be better for the next person, whether it be in a relationship you're in, for your family, for your loved ones, your kids, whoever. Look in the mirror, face yourself head on, and let it all out. Just let it out. I promise you will feel better for it. Don't think you're gonna be weak for it. Don't think people are gonna look down on you. But the point is to start that process so you can be a better you, so things can stop holding you back, so you don't have any more excuses for your behavior and the things that are affecting your way of living. That's it. Start that process now. Love yourself more. Unravel whatever is packed inside of your mental so it's not affecting you anymore. And I'm doing the same. I have to do the same. I've been doing it. I still got to do it. I'm going to continue to do it every time. I want whoever is listening to this, whoever really needs this, just do it. Just love yourself. Love yourself, flaws and all, no matter what you've done. If you genuinely want to be better, love yourself for everything that comes with you. Take accountability for your mental state. Start dealing with the problems that you have. Start releasing that pent up energy inside of you that's been affecting you. Or else you're gonna let it's gonna run your life. Nobody is better than anybody else, man. You know what I mean? We are in different positions in life, but at the end of the day, we all human, dealing with all types of human type stuff in our brains. And one of the biggest ways to grant yourself a lot of leeway and power over your life, if you want to take control of your life and you want to make things happen, you have to love yourself and you have to deal with your traumas and your issues and your mental state. That's it, you know? Deal with that, and the quicker you can deal with that, the quicker you can heal, and the quicker you can accept yourself. Do not forget to cry. Humans, we cry for a reason. Let that shit out. Let it out. You know? I don't care what's going on. I've learned that when I need to sit down and I need to unpack and I need to, unpack my mental state, I'm gonna let it out. It's just it's relief, it's peace in that, Pray to God about it. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you need to do to get over whatever you're going through in your head. But face yourself head on, and it can only do you better. It can only do you better. And that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you for tuning in. Peace out.